Hey there, I'm Sydney Morgan, and as a content creator, I'm constantly diving into what's new and next in beauty and lifestyle. Over the years, I've grown my YouTube channel to 9 million subscribers through unboxings, hauls, challenges, and of course, by listening to my community. My fans on YouTube engage with me every single day, asking me to review new products or test the really expensive ones because they want to know what's worth their money. And that's because YouTube creators like me have passionate communities built on years of trust. That sort of trust and genuine connection is why my recommendations mean more to them, and why millions of shoppers tune to YouTube for their purchase decisions, especially during the holidays. That's when my channel's views go through the roof. No, seriously, my YouTube channel got more than 1 billion views in the second half of the year. I think the reason behind that is that people do a lot of research before they buy holiday gifts. And they're often the most expensive purchases of the year. They are for people that mean the most to us, so we start watching reviews long before we buy gifts. And we put our best efforts to get something really meaningful. I know I don't want to get a Christmas present for my mom on an impulse, so we got to get it right. No pressure. And whether you're looking for gifts for yourself or for your loved ones, there are so many different shopper needs at play here. YouTube wanted to know more about these shoppers, so they partnered with Material for a study of 2,000 Americans, and they found 7 distinct types of shoppers, each with their own motivations. Let's look at some that are especially relevant for the holidays. Like the shoppers that need a little bit of inspiration. Maybe their cousin just went to college, so they need ideas to get started. Others might have an idea of what they want, but they want to compare products, watch reviews, and go on a quest for the best gift. Or maybe your niece has just gotten into ice skating, but you're a rookie on that topic, so you have no idea where to begin. I think this is where YouTube really sets itself apart. Whether it's a $500 Dyson, or an Aura ring, or Legos, the depth and variety of product information on YouTube is unlike anything shoppers find anywhere else. So let's take a look through a few of those shopper mindsets, and you'll see why YouTube has become a huge part of the holiday season for people. Okay, so first off, let's start with the people who haven't made their holiday lists yet. These shoppers need some ideas, stat. That's why the wish list trend is so popular during the holidays. People want to know the products that YouTube creators love enough to put on our wish lists so they can quickly decide what to buy. Let's take a look.
My name is Noelle, and I'm so excited to film this video because, first of all, my name is Noelle. I literally love Christmas, hello. And second of all, I love shopping, love making wish lists, and I love giving gifts. So this is all just everything I love in one, and I'm so excited to film this video and share my Christmas wish list ideas with you guys. I have 150 Christmas wish list ideas, and I have it split into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 different categories.
The other trend that people can't get enough of are the with me videos. And it makes sense. It's a format that started on YouTube, and it keeps audiences coming back day after day because they want unscripted, authentic POVs from creators. They want to see the products that we really use in our day-to-day lives. And during the holidays, these feel even more personal and relevant with Bake With Me videos, where people watch a creator make holiday desserts. Or where they get ideas for holiday decor with a Decorate With Me video.
Setting, and I want to get the tree up. I have like a little tree collar here, and I love taking these actually and inverting them. So they normally always are like this shape. I flip them like this, so that way when you put your tree in it, it kind of looks like it's in a basket, which I think looks a little cuter. It goes together so quick too, which is really nice.
My Christmas tree here is from Terrain, and I got this a few years back. It is the Norway spruce, the pre-lit Norway spruce. I'll link it below for you. I think they still have it. And for the decor on the Christmas tree, I actually ended up wanting to do this at night just for those authentic Christmassy vibes.
Or they go along for the holiday shopping experience with a shop with me. Speaking of holiday shopping, another ritual that millions of people look forward to during the holiday season is Vlogmas. People love these vlog-a-day advent calendar style videos because they get to celebrate with their favorite creators and be a part of their day-to-day holiday preparations, from gift shopping to holiday travel and family gatherings. I can't wait to get into the spirit myself, so let's take a look.
Happy Vlogmas, everyone! Hi guys, it's Nicole and welcome back to my channel. Happy Vlogmas Day 18! You guys, 7 more days until Christmas. Oh my gosh! But today, we are going shopping! Me and a few friends wanted to go to Fashion Valley today and just do some shopping.
These girlies clearly love shopping. And a lot of shoppers are super fans of specific retailers, as you all probably know. I have friends who literally live at Ulta, or friends who find themselves at Sephora every time they need a little pick-me-up. These people obviously want to know the latest on in-store collections and holiday specials, so YouTube creators fuel the fandom for specific retailers with custom videos. It could be a compilation of the best early Black Friday deals at Costco, because who doesn't love a cheat sheet? Or a holiday haul at TJ Maxx, or a challenge video to buy every mini product at Sephora. Let's watch this one.
My best friend told me that she'll buy me whatever I want from Sephora in the next 5 minutes if I can find a mini version of it. Of course, I started off with Sol de Janeiro because everybody knows they have these little mini bun bun creams, but I needed to grab more of my favorite face wash that I ran out of. I did not think they were gonna have a mini version of this at all, but surprisingly, they did. And because Anna's paying, I decided to grab myself some Drunk Elephant because I don't care how expensive it is. But sadly, Drunk Elephant doesn't have any of their products as minis. They should really capitalize on that. I feel like people would buy them. Then I needed to grab my favorite eye cream. Thankfully, they had a mini of that too. Comment down below if you think I should turn all of these mini products into even smaller mini products. I also grabbed my favorite setting spray, but they didn't have my favorite eyeliner. I was very upset about that, but the setting spray is fine. They also have this brand new flavor of this lip mask and a mini version of it. And I got the last one. I am so lucky today. Of course, Glow Recipe has all of their products as minis, so I grabbed that. And I didn't think Rare Beauty would have this blush, but surprisingly, they had the one color I wanted. If this video gets to 10,000 likes, I'll make them all tinier.
So she wanted 10,000 likes, and guess how many it got? 150,000. Day after day, people come to YouTube expecting to find these shopping vlogs and get ready with me's that help them make quick, confident decisions. Showing up on YouTube helps you reach people who are intentionally exploring and helps them discover your products before and during the holiday push. Now, the one thing my audience wants to know all year round is, what's the best product? Tell us the truth. And they tell me that they value my opinion even more during the holidays because they're overwhelmed by the product choices. Those reviews, comparisons, and holiday specials are another reason people come to YouTube. They bring products to life and help them navigate through a sea of options. So these quests for the best gift shoppers have narrowed down the type of thing they want to buy. Maybe it's a watch, or a fragrance, or a new gadget, but they want to be confident that it's the best one. And who better to learn from than the creators that they already trust? Shoppers approach product research in a bunch of different ways. Some of the reviews they watch are lengthy deep dives. Others are quick summaries on YouTube Shorts. But what's consistent is that they watch creator content that feels like a friend is telling them exactly what they need to know. And good friends share all their secret hacks. So a really popular trend that I expect to see more of during the holiday season is the tips I won't gatekeep. Because people love it because they get the inner circle treatment from creators and they have access to exclusive tips they wouldn't have known otherwise. It's a win-win. The other fan favorite review format is ranking videos. People find the gamification of videos like I rated every celebrity tech product or I bought every Dyson product irresistible. Of course, these videos are super entertaining, but they're also a big part of the research people do when they're comparing different products. That's why product reviews are some of the most watched videos, because YouTube audiences crave in-depth, trustworthy content. And by sponsoring a product placement on these creator reviews or hauls, you can ensure your brand is front and center when shoppers are making their final decision. For example, my product reviews for the Skin Body Hair Identifier Spray reached 55 million views on Shorts and 1.8 million long-form views. When audiences see something innovative through a creator lens, it doesn't just create buzz, it drives action. For the last shopper mindset today, let's say your friend is a huge gamer, but you don't play video games. Or you want to get your partner a fitness tracker, but you've never bought one before. Basically, you know who you're shopping for, but you have zero experience in their passions. What do? Holiday gift guides are a must-watch for these rookie shoppers, and they especially love the massive hyper-specific listicles with tons of ideas for specific people in their life. May I present to you 115 girly Christmas gift ideas, or 10 tech gifts under $50 for men, or 250 plus teen Christmas wish list ideas, because we all know teens are some of the hardest to shop for. People feel more confident that they're actually buying the right thing when they get a POV from creators. And I think that's the reason these videos, like Vlogmas, the shopping challenges, the With Me's, and everything else will continue to shape some of the biggest holiday shopping decisions this season. Oh, hey, what you got there?
Well, you were talking about all these cool trends, and it inspired me to get a head start on my own holiday shopping season.
And I can't wait to use your haul for my new unboxing videos.
Exactly. All right, now that our audience has heard about everything that shoppers love, let's inspire them with ideas to put these insights to use. Earlier today, I talked about getting more out of YouTube by tapping into culture, partnering with creators, and driving conversions through our powerful solutions. Now it's time to look at brands that are doing just that. So first up, let's talk about leaning into cultural moments.
You guys, it's Fashion Week. It's one of my favorite times to be in New York, so I'm stoked to talk about Louis Vuitton's fashion show from last fall.
Louis Vuitton knows that YouTube is where audiences go to experience the biggest moments in culture. So in addition to a traditional runway show for their women's collection, they launched a global live stream on YouTube and used Shorts ads to promote it.
And as I was telling you earlier, YouTube audiences love in-depth creator reviews. So a few days later, Louis Vuitton launched a 20-minute live stream of runway reflections featuring an intimate fireside chat between fashion creators who provided commentary and a deep dive on the looks, the silhouettes, and the materials. It was chef's kiss.
The brand promoted that creator long form through masthead and Shorts teasers. And this strategy of going big on YouTube during a cultural moment and leveraging all the different formats that people watch really worked. The main runway show drove 42% brand lift.
And my fellow Gen Zers were also impressed. The creator-driven runway reflections actually had a 1 minute longer average view time among 18 to 24-year-olds compared to the main show.
So we talked about YouTube's role in cultural moments, and now let's take a look at all the different ways brands are partnering with creators.
I did painting and crafts for many years before I started on YouTube, so this Michaels campaign looks really fun to me. Last year, Michaels worked with Veronica and Vanessa, the creators behind the YouTube channel Merrill Twins, to promote their new holiday collections. Each twin shopped at Michaels and then did a surprise twin swap to decorate each other's fireplaces.
Michael's campaign was really rooted in the insight that YouTube has a huge crafting and DIY community, especially Gen Z. They boosted their creator assets with media, and this strategy drove a 5-to-1 omnichannel return on ad spend, driving much stronger results than their core brand assets.
Another brand example I loved was how Lululemon leaned into the trend of hyper-specific gift guides that I was telling you about, and partnered with a fitness creator for this ultimate fit girl gift guide. Now, all you rookies out there know what to get for the Pilates girls in your life. Bonus points for getting creative and highlighting their super accessible under $50 products for the holidays.
Finally, let's talk about how brands are driving conversions with YouTube's powerful tools like demand gen.
My audience has requested me to do so many videos about e.l.f. products. So this campaign is another one of my favorites. Last holiday season, e.l.f. Cosmetics leveraged demand gen in tandem with other YouTube solutions to reach and convert shoppers across their entire journey. They built mass reach and consideration for their Halo Glow liquid filter using video reach and video view campaigns. And then they used demand gen to drive people through to the purchase.
This comprehensive strategy delivered great results, and the brand saw a 25% jump in revenue growth on the platform, with demand gen being the most efficient driver of purchases compared to other platforms.
I think that what's common across all these campaigns is that they had authentic content that was so laser focused on what audiences today want to watch.
Exactly. So ultimately, no matter what your brand's objectives are, there are so many opportunities on YouTube to bring your vision to life. And getting started could be as simple as leaning into cultural moments, partnering with creators, and leveraging YouTube's powerful performance solutions to get more this holiday season. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sydney and Nikki. We're halfway through our Mainstage content, and I hope you're all getting into the holiday spirit. Well, wait, you're kind of retailers. You're always in the holiday mode, right? Like, you're like Mariah all year long, right? Like, I'm back. We have a lot of fun with that video in our team. Anyway, this afternoon, we'll dive deeper into some of the big ideas that we heard and touched on at the keynote, with some marketing leaders from some very known household brands. First, you'll hear from Aritzia about how they're factoring their new value equation into the marketing strategy, that perfect combination of price, quality, and omni-channel purchase convenience that Courtney mentioned earlier. Next, Walmart will share how they're building on their trust of YouTube and its creators to reach the new audience. And finally, Ball & Branch will share how they're using our AI solutions and achieving profitable results. These fireside chats promise to deliver big insights in just a few minutes each, so you can walk away with actionable strategies without the fluff. And then we're thrilled to have here Jason Retailgeek Goldberg, a very popular podcast host and Chief Commerce Strategy Officer at Publicis, who will share more about his prediction for this AI-powered holiday season. Then I'll be back to wrap things up. But for now, please help me welcome to the stage Heather Lemaster from Aritzia and Natasha Waldry.
All right, thank you, Ima, and hello, everyone. My name is Natasha Waldry. I'm the Managing Director at Google Customer Solutions in Canada, and I am thrilled to be here with Heather Lemasters, Vice President of Performance Marketing at one of Canada's most iconic global brands, Aritzia. Welcome, Heather.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, we're thrilled to have you. So I'm going to dive right in, as we have to keep this tight. But as you saw from the keynote, everyday luxury is the mission of the Aritzia brand. Can you give us insight into how you are cutting through in this highly competitive market? And given that 87% of women plan on buying a new fashion brand this fall, and we already heard that our holiday shoppers are going to be more choiceful than ever.
Yes, definitely. We are truly seeing that customers are more discerning than ever. And we're entering such a competitive time of year. And we have a very different situation in Canada, where we were founded 40 years ago, than we do in the US, where we've been for a little less than half that. So in Canada, it's really about cutting through and staying top of mind with the customers that know and love us. And in the US, it's about building awareness and driving new customer acquisition. And the way that we do it in both markets is very much the same. It's a surround sound approach, which really means that we're showing up across every touch point where she is with the right message at the right time to drive conversion.
That's great. And I love, Heather, the example that you shared earlier with me around the Super Puff winter jacket. Can you share more about that?
Yes. One of my favorite examples. So our Super Puff is a puffer line that over the past decade has become quite famous. And last year, we leveraged Google Insights and worked with our team to understand that demand was spiking much earlier than we expected it to. So we quickly pivoted and capitalized on that demand. And what we saw was a 55% year-over-year growth specifically on Super Puff demand, which heavily contributed to a record-breaking Black Friday for us. during which we drove a 42% increase year over year in e-com net revenue. So very exciting.
Yeah, and those were amazing earnings results. So just building on that earnings season from fiscal year 25 Q4, I also wanted to share the quote from the CEO of Aritzia, Jennifer Wong. She shared that we continue to see great success with our strategic investments in digital marketing, both online and in our boutiques. Our performance resulted in Aritzia being recognized by Google in Q4 as the fastest growing search term for US women's apparel, which is a huge deal. But I think what I want to underscore here is how powerful it is as a marketer to be seen and recognized in the financial results and then have that echoed by the CEO. So my question for you, Heather, is how did you help pivot marketing from a cost center to a profit center? I know it's been quite the journey.
It indeed has been quite the journey. And a very deliberate journey in which we started out small and we're always focused on profit as the objective. We certainly use ROAS as a guardrail, but we ultimately are focused on profitability. So what we do is we drive as much profit as we can, and then we reinvest that in brand building activities on YouTube that ultimately drive more demand and allow us to scale our program.
Yeah, and I love that self-funding model, reinvesting that profit and cash flow into building the brand. And I think the results have been exceptional. Not only were you the fastest growing search term on Google Search in Q4 last year, you were growing 5 times faster than your nearest competitor, and the emotional connection piece, over half of Aritzia customers felt a strong emotional connection to the brand. So let's touch on Omni, because I know that's top of mind for many of you. What we know is that the Omni consumer is the most valuable customer. We know 70% of holiday consumers are going to be Omni, and that Gen Z definitely is hybrid, wanting to shop in store and online. I was actually a very early adopter, obviously being Canadian, and Aritzia was founded many years ago in Canada. And I actually was shopping there in university, which is, I guess, college in America here, 10 or 15 years ago. You can laugh at that point. But most importantly, what I think is profound is to see the store format evolve. So it was a very simple store in Victoria, BC, Canada, many years ago. And now to see it evolve to the Soho flagship here in New York. Clearly, stores are a big part of your growth strategy. Can you give us some more insight on how you're thinking about that?
Yes, absolutely. So Aritzia is very much a retail-first business, and we drive 70% of our revenue through our stores. We view them as our biggest marketing vehicle. They're certainly an expression of our brand. If any of you have been in them, they're beautiful. It's a very deliberate experience. But what we're doing from a digital perspective, and digital marketing specifically, is taking an omni-first approach and actively bridging the gap between online and in-store with omni tools like local inventory ads to drive meaningful foot traffic. We've done a lot of work to prove the impact of digital marketing on e-com, and now we are connecting our store, our offline and online data to prove the impact of digital on stores as well.
Yeah, and I love the focus on Omni ROAS. Many times as digital marketers, we only get credit for the online sales, and the offline piece is so important. So I want to delve a little bit more deeply into measurement, because I think that's one of the greatest challenges for marketers is how do you measure results? But most importantly, how do you prove it? We can all learn from the Aritzia journey. So I'd love, again, how are you kind of measuring results? And most importantly, how do you prove that to your CFO and CEO?
Yes, absolutely. It's been incredibly important for us to measure everything that we're doing so that we can demonstrate, like I was talking about earlier, the profitability. So our measurement approach is really built on quickly evaluating results, leveraging AI to ensure that our results are scalable, and predictable, which is so important in building trust with our leadership team. There are 3 areas that we really truly focus on from a measurement perspective. The first is brand lift studies. So proving that our incremental YouTube investment is driving awareness. Mm-hmm. The next is incrementality studies, so demonstrating the causal impact of search and PMAX. And then finally, connecting online and offline data, as I mentioned before, for a full omni view.
Yeah, and I love that. I love the notion of starting small and then being very thoughtful of the results that you're driving, and then making sure that you're using AI best practices to drive predictable and scalable results. And every CFO in the world loves predictability in the numbers, especially amidst so much uncertainty in the retail industry. So I'm going to bring us home. This is a pun that I intend. I'm going to bring us home to wrap it up. But last holiday season, Aritzia had a record-breaking Black Friday period. Can you please share the 3 learnings that you'll be bringing into this holiday season for you?
Yes, no pressure on the heels of all of the records that were broken, but what we are keeping in mind for this holiday is, truly staying agile and focusing on profit, like I was talking about. We've shifted to a self-funded model where, as it's demand-led. As long as we're driving profitability, we're able to scale. The next is scaling omni-channel. We're really incredibly excited about using omni tactics like local inventory ads to drive meaningful foot traffic and omni ROI. And then finally, embracing AI best practices. We're testing search ads with video, we're implementing AI Max, and we're scaling our YouTube strategy.
I love that. So those are the 3 takeaways. Doubling down on profitability with agile budgeting, surround sound with Omni, not forgetting about Omni ROAS, and using AI experimentation. Thank you so much, Heather. You have been an absolute powerhouse on the Aritzia brand to see what you've accomplished in the last 2 years. And here we are. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Welcome to I'd like to welcome to the stage Jill Toscano, VP of Media, Content and Experiences from Walmart, and Kelly Fitzgerald from Google. Thank you.
Hi, Jill.
Hi, Kelly.
It's such a pleasure to be here with you. I love partnering with you and your teams, and I really admire how Walmart is truly shaping the future of retail. As we've heard already in the great content today, today's shoppers are expecting a lot more than just low price. They want speed, they want convenience, and they want you to meet them where they are. And you are such an expert in this. And so I am so excited for you to share with the audience today a few things. And let's start by sharing how Walmart has been using YouTube to connect with shoppers today.
Yeah, we, during our planning seasons every single year, I like for us to think of ourselves as these kind of anthropologists of the holiday season, and really immerse ourselves into what our customers are thinking, how they're celebrating this year, how they're honoring, old traditions, creating new traditions, what their stresses are, because as joyous as the holiday season is, it's also stressful. And Kelly, we often turn to our partnership with YouTube to not only get these insights, but to think about making the cultural moment even bigger. And so I guess based on that experience, maybe there's 3 kind of learnings that we've really taken hold of and are activating on. And the first one is maximizing product discovery and making it easily shoppable. One of our customers' biggest challenges, and I think we can all relate to this, is this notion of finding the perfect gift. And this often starts on YouTube when people are looking for ideas, when they're looking for advice, when they're looking for the pros. I think Sydney had mentioned it. They're looking for somebody to kind of teach them about the things that people want, what their kids want. And so this is a place where we want to be, at the beginning of the journey all the way to the end of that journey. Things like holiday gift guides, holiday hauls, top-rated gifts, and make sure that we're taking that inspiration and we're matching that to our assortment. The second thing that I'd say that we're really going big on is leveraging the power of social proof of creators. Many of our shoppers are ones that are exploring and buying in categories that they're not familiar with. So whether you're trying to find like the hottest, video game for your kids or the best coffee maker recommendation, a lot of the times they will turn to the advice, the savvy, the demo videos, the recommendations of YouTube creators. And we want to make sure that we're there as well when they're ready to make the purchase. And then the third thing is we think about the screen and the content that we create really fitting the screen as well as the customer intent. So for mobile, the small screen, we think about the stickiness of the content and also something that we call screenshotability. So when we think about wish lists, we think sharing the screenshot is almost like circling the page on the catalog, right? That's the new way to share your wish list. And then on the big screen, we love that YouTube has a dominant presence on TV. And we think about creating content that's entertaining, that has the finger on the pulse of culture, and that's kind of worthy of the big screen. You've got a captive, many times a captive family that's watching holiday classics. That's a tradition that never goes away. And you've got a captive audience, huge scale of reach in front of that big screen. How are you going to make it worth their time? And so overall, we think about our entire end-to-end journey on YouTube. And I would say to brands, make sure that you're showing up in all of the places where you feel like you can add value.
That's such a great piece of advice, and I could relate to a couple things. I'm definitely a rookie when it comes to shopping for Pokemon. I'm not an expert there, so giving you guys being able to give us content advice in those areas is wonderful. And then your philosophy about adding value versus just adding to the noise is a really powerful one. Can you share an example with the audience about how Walmart has done that in the past?
Yeah, I think some of our best ideas come from these scaled behavioral insights. And last year we were noticing something really interesting. Millions of people were actively searching for and tuning into ambient content on YouTube. And this is like crackling fireplaces, calm music. This is content that is completely devoid of a plot, characters, right? It's just cozy mood atmosphere. And we saw that it was amassing like a lot of time spent. I think the number is an astounding 2 billion minutes of time spent with this kind of content. And so we thought rather than just kind of place our ads adjacent to this content, let's become this trend. And so we created the kind of first of its kind shoppable ambient rooms on YouTube. And we called them background joys. And if you look at the screen, I think we have some examples. So they were things like this winter chalet where everything in the screen is actually clickable and shoppable at Walmart. We had Santa and his reindeers flying overhead. So the porch decor, the Christmas lights, everything was purchasable. And then the thing that was probably most popular is Luke's Diner in Stars Hollow and Gilmore Girls, and everybody loved this. And so it was a way to kind of provide a little bit of a reprieve from the holidays, but also inspire some shopping.
It was brilliant. You could tell the nostalgia definitely hit.
Yeah.
But also my boys, 7 and 11, love the reindeer one. They love their like little reindeer butts on the screen. So really brilliant. You guys really turned this viewing behavior insight into a seamless shopping experience. And how did shoppers respond?
They loved it. We reached 75 million people who were spending a good amount of time. We drove 1.5 million conversions. We had people in the comments ask for things like, can you release a 20-hour version of X, Y, and Z? They were creating their own ambient rooms that they wanted us to release. We did not do that though. But more importantly, we saw intent actually go up. And so we saw the searches of the query, queries like Walmart holiday, which you can imagine is already pretty big during this time of year. That actually went up 16%. Wow. And we saw brand favorability go up on YouTube to an amount that was 5 times the retail benchmark. And so we really liked what we saw there. And again, I think if you're thinking of ways to kind of like give back to the customers who are shopping with you, just a little thing that kind of gets them away from the hustle and bustle of the holiday, but also, hey, if you want to shop, here's an easy way to do it. That was a winning formula for us.
Amazing. Another rewarding moment for advertisers that we've been talking about today is that when you create content with a creator, you tap into the passion for those creators and the audience that they have. They're masters at creating engaging content, and they've really become masters at delivering brands messages. So I would love to hear from you. Like, what do you think about working with YouTube creators? Why is it important, and why has it been effective for Walmart?
We believe that social commerce, that creators are the lifeline of social commerce. For us, we work with tens of thousands of creators, and a lot of the times they're featuring products in their content. They're unboxing them, they're demoing them, they're endorsing them. But the thing that they also do for us, which is super important, is they're driving brand reappraisal. And the reason why that's important is because 90% of America shops with us already. The thing is, 90% of America doesn't shop every category that we have, doesn't even realize perhaps that we sell that category. And so there's a level of reappraisal when we work with a fashion influencer, for example, who is unboxing outfits and trying on a full outfit fall for the fall holiday. So, you know, we find that the customers that come into us, like some of the results are, rather than trying to generate just sales or, you know, look at ROAS, we look at new to category customers. So if you already were a customer of Walmart, are you actually new to this category that you have never shopped with us before? And we find that influencers bring that in for us. Why we like YouTube, we work with a bunch of different partners, but we were excited about YouTube's offering, and there's a few things that probably differentiate our partnership with you guys. One of them is access to a wider variety of creators. And so we work with a lot of lifestyle creators. What we find with YouTube is that we're able to get a wider variety of creator cohorts and categories. Things like gaming, things like DIY, which is huge, toys. And so it allows us to go kind of broader in terms of the breadth of our assortment that we're promoting, but it also allows us to go deeper in any one of those categories that we need to drive during that time period. The other thing is the choice of kind of content, right? Like a lot of the times it's very quick, right? You scroll through it. We have the choice of, you know, short form and long form. The shorts work really well for us, but the long form allows the creators that we work with to embed multiple SKUs into their posts and therefore build bigger baskets, which is really appealing for us. And then the third thing that I love is YouTube has really made shoppable pretty seamless. And this to me is a really customer first evolution. You know, there are times you've got to deal with the clunky affiliate link that is in the description of the post, right? And that's where you need to go to actually click out to the product. The fact that it's now a simple, you know, link to a shoppable product module is a huge change that not only benefits, you know, our GMV driving ability, but also, you know, creators' earning ability. And so we really like those three things together.
Awesome. That's so wonderful to hear. And you talked a little bit about the business outcomes, so I'd love to just end on this. At the end of the day, I know the ultimate question you get all the time is what is the ROI? And while many of the brands here may not have similar budgets to Walmart, they all share that same pressure that you have with performance goals. So could you share a little bit about how Walmart thinks about leveraging YouTube to drive measurable results?
We certainly get the same pressure, if not more. And so everything has to be demonstrating that it's moving our business, but not, you know, the way that we talk about certain, you know, performance of channels or formats is different than we talk about others. And the thing that's also great is we go beyond YouTube here. We benefit from the amazing synergy with Google when we talk about overall performance and really think about like the customer touch points. So when we plan, there's a very purposeful intention for each of our media touch points. And when we do our jobs really, really well, it not only creates a great customer experience, but it also creates, you know, downstream efficiency. Like all of that goodness at the top is making it a lot easier for the other ensuing channels to do their job. We are, you know, when we talk about performance, number one, we talk about full funnel. We don't rely on the video to like click somebody out of the experience and go to our site. It's just not what the user wants to do, nor would we want that to happen. But we look at the efficiency that videos, for example, give to our lower funnel conversion media in addition to our MMM ROAS or MTA ROAS. The other thing is we don't look at channels in isolation. So we do a lot of mastheads. We love our mastheads. And when we have a masthead on, we don't just look at the ROAS. We look at the impact to lower funnel actions. When we do a masthead, we'll see on average a 19% lift in brand searches. And that lift is even greater when we do something really culturally relevant, like our Mean Girls work or our Office Space work. And then the last thing that I would say is, you know, for a while we've been, you know, planning for this and making big bets here, but shopping is no longer just about the intentional planned trip. It is happening all the time. And that's because discovery is happening all the time. And so it's upon us to be in the places where this discovery is happening, to inspire the purchase and to make it easier to kind of, you know, consolidate that experience from discovery to purchase.
Thank you so much, Jill. You're such a generous partner and sharer of insights with this group, and it's been really nice to be here with you today. I would now like to welcome to the stage Michelle Carrera, the VP of Growth and Analytics at Boll & Branch, and she will be with Andrea Vanucci from Google. Thanks, Jill.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, how's it going? All right. I'm Andrea Vanucci, a Director of Commerce here at Google, and I'm super excited to be joined by Michelle Carrera, the Vice President of Growth and Analytics at Boll & Branch. Michelle, Boll & Branch is such an impressive brand. 11 years ago, as a startup, you all took on the home category, and you've pretty much exclusively built your customer base on D2C, and you've been profitable that whole time. So before we get too deep into all of that, can you tell us a little bit about the brand?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you mentioned, we are the leading home bedding linens brand, the category celebrating close to 12 years coming up this January. And really founded by a husband and wife team, Scott and Missy. They were redoing their primary home at the time and realized they could find no information out about what was on their bed. Where were the linens coming from? What materials were they made? How were they sourced? And really just discovered, wow, there's a huge gap in the market here that we can dive into. And that was where the birth of Boll & Branch came from. And it all done with a focus on transparency, ethical practices, and really with a lens of just dignity and respect along the way. A little bit about how that kind of also translates into the culture at Boll & Branch is, especially, as myself, working with the teams on the growth side, we have such an entrepreneurial, test and learn, growth-oriented mindset that continues to exist to this day, even as we've grown, as large as we are, and we're omni-channel. We have 15 retail stores, and we're, in Nordstrom and Bloomingdale's, but that test and learn mindset continues to hold true. The core ethos to D2C is being those growth hackers. And, we do that to an extent, but it's done with the lens of, as you said, being first order profitable, maintaining that as a core ethos to our business. And that's how we make decisions, especially going into Q4.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. It's obviously a beautiful brand, great business. As a customer, I spent time on your site. I finally understand what thread count means, and apparently it means nothing. So that was a great educational curve. Talk about the marketing side a little bit. How have you been able to guide shoppers through this very touch and feel journey, especially when it's such a saturated marketplace, ton of variety out there?
Yeah, I mean, it's such a saturated category, really competitive as well, and highly fragmented of where people choose to shop. There's traditional big box, there's retailers, there's online. There's also an interesting duality of why the shopper chooses to get into bedding and make a purchase. So very functional in the needs of, I need to upgrade my sheets, right? Because they're torn, I just bought a new mattress. There's a functional need to replace something. And there's also very emotional needs from the customer as well of, I deserve better sleep. I'm a new mom and sleep is critical, and I deserve this space to be my retreat. So there's the emotional side that we try to pick up and register for, and there's also the functional side of that category as well.
Yeah. You said before creative is kind of the new targeting instead of audience targeting, which I love. Talk to us about your media strategy. What's made you so successful in addressing that range of needs as someone's going to shop for sheets?
Yeah, I mean, as I was saying, because there's such an interesting drive behind the purchase decision for bedding, we have to reach the customer where they're at, where they're searching. So as an example, in Google, we can of course eat up the available demand, right? People shopping for sheets, but how do we then also capture more of the emotional shopper that's maybe looking to trade up or doesn't know that they necessarily need sheets in this moment? How do we convince you that Boll & Branch should be not only in your consideration set, but upgrade to us? And the visual storytelling of channels like Demand Gen allow us to storytell and bring in the amazing photography that is so critical to our brand, because we are an aspirational, attainable luxury brand. We're not $30, we're definitely a little bit higher price point than that. So we have some convincing to do, right? There's a lot more touch points involved in that, and we have to differentiate and prove the quality of our sheets to these consumers, and the visuals help you navigate along the way. Why should I spend $400 for these set of white sheets that really look like set of white sheets maybe from Target? But there's so much behind the ingredients, the quality, like why these are better for your sleep, why you should sleep on organic cotton.
Yeah. Well, you've obviously been successful at communicating that message. Some of these stats from last holiday are amazing. 100% year-over-year increase in sales during Cyber Weekend, and 130% year-over-year increase in new customers during the holiday season. So obviously, holiday Q4 holds a lot of weight for your business. What do you do leading up to holiday to ensure that you're having that type of success?
Yeah, I mean, it's 40% of our year. I'm sure many people feel the same sentiment here. And, it's like a grind. It's like kind of that, I think of that meme where the dumpster is kind of floating in the river, right? It's on fire. That is what holiday feels like. And all of us in this room have probably experienced some of that. And the way to get through that is actually to embrace that mentality and to lean into the testing and use 75% of your year as the runway, right, to take off. So all the incrementality, lift, steady, test should be going on. All the new channels, the new creative, the campaigns, the promotional strategy and messaging, all the things that you need to use to build up your playbook. So that by the time you get into Q4, of course, you can't have a set strategy because it's going to change by the hour. We know that, but you need to have a group of levers, right, at your disposal to be able to deploy during Q4 really rapidly. So that test and learn mindset, you can't just do nothing, not do that throughout the year and then try to execute it in Q4. That has to be your philosophy throughout the year. So your team is ready to be nimble and react to, real-time forecasts.
Yeah. And last year you guys learned some new things throughout your testing, unlock some additional AOV, which I know throughout the year has been a big struggle for a lot of the retailers I've spoken to. Can you share some of the tricks that you learned?
Yeah, I mean, AOV, is a super important component to new customer growth for us. We are still, primarily D2C, and new customer growth drives the business. Yeah. So, in addition to being first order profitable, right, we have a lot of guardrails on how much we can, choose to spend and invest, and the quality of those customers is really critical. So that LTV to CAC we are monitoring and watching maniacally, and AOV is what gives us the headroom, right, to spend more on those quality customers. So we've been really focused, especially last year, on using channels like PMax as an example to penetrate bundle adoption with new customers specifically. So we want you to buy not just the set of sheets, we want you to buy the waffle blanket, and we want you to buy pillows and our duvet cover, and the full Boll & Branch experience is now where we've shifted as a business, and bundles has been our way to do that. So during holiday, that was an example of a kind of a last minute campaign. Actually, that came up as an idea of one of our starter bundles was taking off. How can we get more visibility into this? And we launched this PMax campaign on top of it, and it exploded. Our penetration of bundles doubled year over year, and AOV for all new customers was up 10%. Coupled with slightly lower discounts, right? That just means we've acquired our best cohort of new customers ever for the business.
That's impressive. Can we shift to this year? Obviously, there's been a lot of change in consumer behavior, whether it's through scrolling, screaming, shopping, searching. Tell us what the plan is for this year in terms of pivots that you're going to make.
Yeah, I mean, continuing to bring that testing culture into Q4 is critical. So we've been, like I said, using this year to really test into all of our different channels, pressure tests, our lift studies, use especially new adoption of AI tools like demand gen, which has really opened up the search funnel for us and has brought in all this, like I said, visual storytelling to convince people of why buy, and also even new tools like AI Max. I highly encourage everyone to just turn that on. It's probably the fastest adoption of a new product that's worked so well ever, and that really has also helped us from a brand again reach that customer who's in that maybe emotional point of a search, right? You're not just looking for organic sheets anymore. You maybe are going through menopause and you're sleeping really hot and your partner's you gotta do something about this, and you start, searching for that in a long form format, and all of a sudden you realize, oh wow, Boll & Branch actually makes sense here. And we have all of our PR strategy in tune to showing up for these searches. We are driving affiliate that way, YouTube conversations and like influencers, like all of those cogs need to work together so that you're optimized for that final kind of search and point of entry to the buying set.
It's great to see your immediate success with some of the products, just testing into it. Do you have any Q4 hot tips that we can take away?
I mean, I feel like we were talking about this earlier, like when you, in a skiing analogy, if you're going down the Black Diamond and like your instinct is, right, to like lean back because you're scared of falling over and you actually have to like lean forward to get down the mountain successfully. So I encourage everyone like lean into like the scary things that maybe aren't working is actually like an opportunity for you to figure out. We were struggling, right, as an example, with AOV for new customers. Like we launched that campaign last minute and we like spun up some custom bundles and all of a sudden we saw this huge growth. So use like the pain points actually as an opportunity, not as something to shy away from. And the brands that are going to read and react and be really nimble throughout Q4 and like bring that mindset of that culture of leaning in, taking big bets, like that is the only way that you're going to, drive 40% of your year in Q4, maybe 20% of your year in Cyber Week, like us, and we're gonna do that again this year.
Yeah, I'll be going down the mountain. It might be rolling though. I don't know if I could totally master a Black Diamond at this point. Okay, so some lessons that we got from you, obviously test and learn. With new consumer behaviors, obviously comes new opportunities to try different things. Reading and reacting in real time, right? What you guys did with AOVs and bundles to ensure that you're continuing to drive that profitable growth, which has been amazing for your brand. And then obviously using AI to help shoppers discover your brand. Thank you so much for being here. We learned so much.
Amazing. Thank you.
It's my pleasure to welcome to stage up next Jason Goldberg and Megan Danielson.
Right, so we have a very special treat for you all to end the day today. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Jason Goldberg. Jason is very warm welcome.
That feels very warm.
Applause.
Yeah,
yes, yeah. Jason's a fourth generation retailer and the chief commerce strategy officer at Publicis Group. And he has over 3 decades of experience that he's going to share with us today, working with some of the world's biggest brands to navigate this ever-changing retail landscape that we've been hearing about. But some of you might know him as the Retailgeek online. So he is the co-host of a top-ranked, amazing podcast called The Jason and Scott Show. It has almost as many subscribers as Sydney, I think, our YouTube creator.
Very similar.
Very similar, yes.
It's a little-known fact, but cumulatively, Sydney and I's content has been viewed over 1 billion times.
Oh, okay. And you were the point one.
We don't have to get into the details.
He's also a regular contributor to a Forbes column. He's been inducted into the NRF Retail Hall of Fame. So simply put, when it comes to retail, you are the real deal. So welcome to your first Think Retail stage.
Oh my gosh, it's so much fun. Thanks for having me. And you found a really polite way to say that I'm old.
That is, well, I didn't want to say it, but.
Yeah.
No, Jason's really a master at connecting these high-level trends to the practicalities of running a successful retail business, anything from inventory management to supply chain efficiencies. And so we're really excited to have him today to just be able to really synthesize some of the trends that we're seeing down to action so that you can all create that strategic distance from your competitors. And so let's dive into it, Jason. We are going to talk a little bit about the current economic landscape. So how are these macroeconomic signals shaping consumer behaviors this holiday season? And what does it mean for the evolution of the traditional peak shopping days like Black Friday? And are you finding that it's going to be a more fragmented, condensed approach this year?
Oh my God. So the first thing I'm realizing is I should have come to the rehearsal. I didn't. That's a really hard question to start with.
It's a hard question.
The U key on my keyboard is broken from typing uncertainty so many times this year. So take this with a grain of salt. the macroeconomic conditions are really uneven. The first half of the year was actually surprisingly good, and traditionally, one of the best indicators we have for how well holiday is going to do is back to school, which I think we were all reasonably happy with how back to school came out. So that's all super favorable. We're starting to get some economic signals that are a little worrisome, and a lot of retailers had to plan for holiday and make all their inventory decisions during a really uncertain period where there was a lot of volatility around tariffs. So I think it's going to be an uncertain holiday season. But I think you hit on the number one thing, which is it's going to be bifurcated. That, so far this year, we've kind of had an average year. I think we're growing about 3.9%. The 10-year average, we grow about 4.1%. So pretty close. But in that, you have amazing retailers. Walmart is like the second largest e-commerce site in the United States of America. They're growing 26%, right? And so you see these big, really excellent retailers that are getting way outside returns. And if you do the math, what that means is a lot of other retailers are sort of struggling. So I think there's going to be clear winners and losers this holiday season. So that's going to be a challenge. And then you hit on another interesting thing. What's the shape of the holiday? Are the tent poles going to be traditional? Every year we talk about holiday starting earlier, and I'm sure we'll see sales. There's a famous retailer in Seattle that's trying to make a new shopping day in October, and so we talk. I don't know who they are, but you guys have maybe tell me afterwards. We hear all this about shopping starting earlier and earlier, and we've been talking about this for the last 10 years. And it is true. Retailers start holiday earlier and earlier every year. Consumers do not. The history is that the shopping season, we're all procrastinators, and most of the shopping starts pretty late. But what is interesting is those tent poles, while they're still super important and they're still much bigger than average days, they're a smaller percentage of the whole holiday season than they've ever been before. So in the beginning of my career, everybody had a fabulous Thanksgiving, and then we all got in a fist fight for the last doorbuster TV at Best Buy on Friday, and then we all went to work on Monday and stole our boss's internet to go shopping online on Cyber Monday, because we didn't have the internet at home back then, right? And so those 2 days, Friday and Monday, were huge shopping days. They still are, but now we're all in our Pixel 10s under the dinner table on Thanksgiving, getting those first gifts. And so every day is more important than they used to be. So I would not sleep on the non-tentpole days this year.
So you're saying it's a marathon, not a sprint, to really plan it out.
Yeah,
and do some
I like the
scenario
ski
planning
metaphor from the last speaker better, because I'm much better at falling down a hill than I am actually endurance sports.
Okay, so Courtney talked in her keynote this morning about the 4 S's: streaming, shopping, searching, scrolling. And we're hearing more about this collapse funnel where discovery and purchase behavior kind of happen simultaneously. How can retailers prepare their content and product strategy to capitalize on this for the upcoming holiday season?
Yeah, well, the funnel is a really interesting conversation. I don't know if it was ever actually how people shop, but it was a super useful metaphor for planning purposes. But it's clear that if it was ever accurate, it's not accurate now, right? And so you politely mentioned that I've been doing this an awful long time. For my whole career, the most important moment in a retail path to purchase was called SIS, saw in store, right? That's where discovery happened. Procter & Gamble named that moment. They called it the first moment of truth. And it was the most important thing in shopper marketing. It triggered this whole discipline. And then in 2011, when a fellow Googler, Jim, coined this phrase that I love, ZMOT, the zero moment of truth. And what he was essentially predicting, and has absolutely been true, is it is no longer the case that we're discovering those products on the shelf for the first time. That shelf is still super important. That store is still super important. But you almost certainly have discovered that product on a YouTube short before you ever walked in the store. And so thinking about the shopping experience from the store out is no longer the right way to do it. We have to figure out how to win all these micro moments, because she no longer goes shopping. She just is shopping at all times.
That's right. And with AI overviews coming into the fold, it's just another place that you have to think about making sure your content is aligned to that zero moment of truth. So let's shift to omni-channel. There's a lot of omni-channel retailers in the room, and personally, I love the magic of going into a store around the holidays and really getting that experience, and then of course going online and panic shopping 3 days before Christmas. But how do you
both
think?
Are acceptable.
Yes, we have to do both. How do you think about the role of stores this holiday, and what are you seeing in the data about some of those consumer behaviors?
Yeah, well, it's really evolving. I'm trying to move off of that word omni-channel because half of that word is channel, and I really feel like that word channel is increasingly irrelevant, right? Like what we really need to worry about is helping her discover products and create desire wherever she wants and then fulfill it wherever she wants. But because of Zmont and because of the coming robots and AI, it's never been more important that the store play a broader role than just discovery. Right? And so we're increasingly seeing stores getting used for fulfillment. There's great retailers that fulfill 97% of their e-commerce orders from the stores, and they've become micro-fulfillment centers. One of the fastest growing categories of digital commerce is grocery, and the preferred way of getting your groceries is still curbside pickup, online grocery pickup. And so those stores play a super important role. But when you used to go in the store to get your groceries, there were all these moments of discovery, this serendipitous discovery. When you're pulling up to the curb after soccer practice to pick up your groceries, how are you discovering that Mondelez makes these new delicious Coca-Cola flavored Oreos, right? Like we're having to figure out how to invent that digital discovery at all these new touch points. So store is as important as ever, but its role is different. And I also wouldn't sleep on the store's role post-purchase.
Right. Well, and speaking of new things now, as AI starts to play a bigger role in some of these consumer shopping journeys, how should retailers, especially for the upcoming holiday season, adapt their digital strategy, or should they be adapting their digital strategy at this point?
Yeah. I've been meaning to look into that AI thing. Is that a thing this year?
Might be. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, so I think it's one of those stories where two things can be true at the same time. Like one of the narratives we hear a lot is, oh man, the traditional web is dead and SEO is dead and everybody should be all in on figuring out how to win the robots and this zero-click commerce, right? And I absolutely think AI is going to be transformative, not just for how we all operate, but for how the consumer discovers products and creates demand. So I agree it's super important. I don't agree that all those traditional tactics that have gotten us here are obsolete or even depreciated. They're as important or more important than ever. And so step one, while you should be learning about AI, testing AI, preparing for AI, you should not abandon any of the fundamentals. The fundamentals are what are going to help you make or break this holiday season. So I would certainly say that. But I would also say, man, you better get your AI governance in place. You better get your data governance in place to feed all of these AI things. And you ought to be doing tests and learns because that consumer that is typing prompts into the AI engine is learning new behaviors. She's asking different questions than she did when we all taught her how to do keyword searches. And you really need to be capturing data about that right now so that you can be preparing for holiday 2026, which is certainly going to be fiscally impacted by the robots.
Yes, couldn't agree more. The data that we collect today is really going to teach a lot of those AI models tomorrow and help us evolve.
I, for one, welcome our robot overlord.
I don't know if I'm as welcoming.
I'm saying
as
that
you
because
are.
I know they're on Notebook reading this right now. So.
Well, and beyond using AI for personalization and ad targeting, I would love to hear from you. Are there other areas that you're excited about or that are emerging as applications of AI from a retail perspective that you're expecting to see this holiday season?
Yeah, so it's a great question. So we're all wonderful digital marketers here at this event, and congratulations on getting the best ticket in New York this week. I know there's a bunch of disappointed people that had to go to Fashion Week instead, and I just want to say to all of you, tough. So as a digital marketer, you think about all the ways AI can help us do our jobs better, and all the cool new things that PMax can do, and all these things, and that's all true. I'm thinking beyond that, right? And so I think this year, the big thing that AI is really changing, in addition to marketing, is sales associate enablement, right? So Walmart has 1.6 million associates. They all have access to an agentic solution that helps them do their jobs better. Every Starbucks barista, a job very near and dear to my heart because I have an unhealthy relationship with caffeine, all are using AI to learn to do their jobs better. There's a great unsung hero in retail called Tractor Supply. If you're not familiar with them, they sell everything but tractors. I keep telling Hal he should add a tractor to make it a lot easier. But they all wear headsets for expediting. When you walk in the store, they can check inventory in the back. They can tell the associate that you're coming back there. And there is now an AI agent in the ear of every one of those associates. So when she's talking to a customer, the agent is listening to her and making suggestions about how she could help that customer better. And so I really think it's not as sexy, but one of the main ways that AI is going to have an impact on holiday 2025 is that associate enablement. And then this is wild speculation, and if you listen to the podcast, you'll quickly realize I'm usually wrong. But holiday 2026, I suspect, is going to be the year when consumer behavior is impacted at huge scale because of the new shopping methods that are going to be enabled by the robots.
Yeah, so speaking of 2026, we're starting to
That's
plan.
like 5 years away, right?
Yeah, we're starting to plan up for 2026 already. So as we're trying to get through the holiday season, what are some things we should be thinking about already for next year?
Yeah, well, so the first thing is that in 2026, holiday season won't be over, right? So we talked earlier about, hey, those tent poles are a little less important and the whole holiday season's more important. Do not sleep on January's importance to holiday season. So this year, we're going to sell more digital gift cards than ever before. If you're the parent of a child, you now know that the only gifts they want are like Roblox and the digital currencies, right? But a lot of those gift cards, customers are going to walk in the store in January to redeem. We also have this unfortunate trend that returns are higher than ever before. So more people are going to show up in the store with a gift that wasn't a perfect fit and want to exchange it. And so that those January sales are a huge opportunity. And so really the way we're going to kick off 2026 is by extending holiday from December through January. Once that happens, again, all this uncertainty that's playing out, I think there's a skill we're all going to reinforce over holiday. I call it scenario planning, where we're going to meet every day and say, who ran out of what product? How can we lean into that? Who ran out of budget? How can we lean into that? And that sort of agile day-to-day adaption that we all have become very good at for holiday, I think is going to become the new normal in 2026 as we go through all the ebbs and flows of another uncertain year.
Yeah, it's a great tip. Always just have your scenarios ready to go throughout the season and next, and we'll be able to manage that uncertainty. I think you did panic everyone a little bit in this room, though, when you said holiday keeps going beyond the year. They're all ready to, take a break after the
it's never
season.
ending. And I notice a lot of the guests that we've had here have all been wildly successful, and I'm like, I'm super happy for them, but I'm sitting there going, oh my God, how are they going to comp against those numbers?
Yes, exactly. All right, so one final question for you, Jason. If you can give our audience of retail marketers one piece of advice for this holiday season, what would it be?
Oh my gosh, I definitely should have come to the rehearsal. My strongest advice is going to be to over-gift this holiday season, particularly to your spouse. 10 years from now, I feel like, let's hear it for the spouses, exactly. Because I'm pretty confident 10 years from now, whether you had an excellent holiday 2025 or not is not going to be the most important thing to you. But if your significant other still knows that they are appreciated, I suspect that that's going to help you all have a great life. And so I highly recommend that.
Okay, well, I was going to follow that with a nice point and summary of our conversation, but now I'm just going to ask you to please give that advice to my husband. So
Give me his email and I'll add it to the thread.
Well, thank you so much for all of your wisdom that you shared with all of us today, and hopefully we'll see you again next year at this time.
Oh my gosh,
okay.
Happy commercing, everyone.
Don't leave me yet. Where are you going? Don't leave yet. I have a few things to share. No, honestly, feel free to go anywhere you want. We're not forcing anybody here. How's everyone feeling? What a morning here at Think Retail, right? I hope you're excited about what we've announced and learned from all of our amazing speakers. One of my takeaways was Ball and Branch saying, AI Max, just turn it on. As prescriptive as that. So we're listening, we're learning together, and we're shaping the future with you. I had a few takeaways from this morning that I'd love to highlight before we move to the rest of the afternoon. First, we talked about being where discovery starts and decisions are made. And as always, and especially this holiday, that's on Google and YouTube. Second, we unpacked the Power Pack, our next-gen AI-powered performance solutions. Third, we showed you all the ways to win the holidays with the help of Google AI, when you activate your audiences, your assets, and your data. And fourth, we shared your biggest opportunities are on YouTube right now. My hope is that you leave today knowing that you can work with us not to just run better ads, but to untap the full opportunity for your business so you can win this holiday season. For now, let's give all of our speakers another round of applause. And if you're joining us on the live stream, thank you so much. I'm told I have to smile for another 3 seconds for the live stream to cut. So we're here together for an awkward 3 seconds. Okay, we're done. For all of you, in family and friends, we know you've been sitting here for a while, so we're going to switch it up a little bit. Behind me, you will see what we have in store for the rest of the day. From now until 2 p.m., you can choose your own adventure, spanning both our 3rd and 4th floors. You can either grab lunch and network with your peers. Food will be served in both floors. You can head to the product bars to chat with product specialists, pick their brains, and get new insights. Or you can explore our latest AI demos upstairs. I've already tried some of them. My favorite is the Try It On with Google demo. We'll come back together around 2 p.m. for everyone's favorite part of this event, which is the product breakout sessions. On the back of your badge, you should see 2 back-to-back breakouts, which are the ones that you selected at registration. You'll have time to ask questions, take action, and start implementing some of what you heard this morning with our product team support. And after we wrap, we have a spectacular evening planned with a cocktail reception, and this is what I'm most excited, and you are leaving me too. What I'm most excited about, featuring OneRepublic lead singer, songwriter, and 3-time Grammy winner, Ryan Tedder, so you do not want to miss that. If you need any help getting to the AI demos, the product bars, a meeting, or invite the cocktail hour to meet Ryan, there's Googlers right outside on both floors that can help. Thank you, and I will see you all at lunch.